All right, everyone. The College Football Show getting revved up on a Tuesday here at the Voice of College Football. Appreciate you stopping by. Comments, questions, those are welcome there in the chat. And after we have our great conversation with Big Game James Coleman, we will open up the lines to talk to you. But we will start out the show with, again, James Coleman stopping by, talked some Florida State football with us last week. This time I want to nail him down on just his thoughts about this House settlement and how that may play out for college football players in particular, and anything else James wants to add. And again, keep in mind that after this show, you can follow me on the Iowa show, Corey, Brad, and myself with the Hawkeyes live show at 5:30 Eastern. Here we go. James Coleman stopping by to talk the settlement. James, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. How about yourself?
I'm good. Great to see you. And as I've told you a number of times, and I think it even applies even more so to this situation, we got a guy in you where you played the game at a high level. So this is a Florida State Bobby Bowden disciple, 2002 to 2005, playing fullback. Then he's a media guy. And now even on top of that, you working with, through NIL collectives, you working with young men trying to navigate all that. So you got every angle covered here for the most part. So in terms of this settlement, it just seems to, if we have a very narrow-minded view on this and all we see are dollar signs, it just seems to solve all the problems for the student athlete. They got it made. They're going to make a ton of money. And that's kind of the bottom line for a lot of people and a lot of fans out there.
Well, one thing I will say is that change did kind of was needed. And they had all the parameters in place, but what the NCAA did was, instead of manning up and being the leaders and controlling, they kind of just stuck their head in the sand and said, fine, if you want to pay players, do it this way. And what I try to explain it to people is they basically squeezed all the toothpaste out of the tube and then wanted to try to put it back in because they put the cart before the horse. They should have name, image, and likeness should have probably been the secondary thing, and they probably should have done what the government forced them to do. But as a history major, one of the things I love about America, good, bad, and ugly, nothing is ever done seemingly like just for the right things. You kind of have to litigate it, or something has to be fought, and then they kind of put the parameters in place. But it does provide some more safeguards. I was looking over some of the stuff they were doing with the was it NIL Go, basically the clearinghouse for those things, and there is somebody kind of effectively trying to navigate some of these deals. But players are making money. They're not all making money, was it hand over fist, but there is more money involved in it. I will say, if you think that schools like Miami and some of these other places who allegedly are spending $20-30 million already, and they've raised these in their coffers, are going to go back and spend less, then you're not a real fan of the history of college football. You don't understand SMU and the Bagman and a lot of these other different things. But I will say, for the vast majority of school, it does kind of put some parameters into play to where everybody's roughly operating between $13 to $15 million budgets. And I think it kind of maybe levels the playing field a little bit. But guys are still going to there's still going to be some high-end pays, and they're going to keep pushing this until it's more money, or there's less money in the Olympic sports. But from what I understand, it's $20.5 million for all athletes. And it's just not gonna. I'm not as optimistic about that part happening, but I am a little bit more optimistic about them maybe trying to at least slow down what some of these collectives are essentially doing, because they are paying players. Like, I'm not gonna deny that they're paying players.
So, James, you're basically saying that you're not optimistic, meaning there's only going to be a few schools that are going to say, we're going to utilize all that $20.5 million that's coming in here through revenue sharing, and we're going to utilize it. So the first misnomer that some people have is that every school in the country is going to be spending $20.5 million on their athletic student athletes. And that's
Yeah,
just
I
not
don't
the
think that's
case.
happening. I don't
No,
think that's happening.
no.
Here's what I think is if people want to use pro sports, because again, I played pro sports. Well, literally, but college. I didn't go to Florida State for the academics. Great academic institution, by the way. I personally know 2 Rhodes Scholars, but I didn't go there to become a Rhodes Scholar. I went there to go to a pro factory. That is the reason why. If it were truly student athletes or about academics, Harvard would be winning national championships still. And there are no real the rules that are broken in a lot of this aren't legal. They're civil, which is legal, but it's not like criminal. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like it's nothing, like it's capitalism. So like the American in me is like, go make as much money as you can. The purist in me gets what everybody else is saying, but like I already know that the only punishment they'll have is if you don't do what we say, we'll kick you out of NCAA, which I don't think the SEC really cares or the Big Ten really cares. Hell, they'd rather just play each other anyway. That's why everybody wants to join there. So there is a moot point. But what I was saying with as far as I think what it's doing is not a salary cap as much as it's a salary floor. So when you look at the NFL, everybody typically spends as close to the maximum as they can. As a guy who covers the NFL, one of the jokes in the last 10 years is that the salary cap doesn't exist. It's a figure. It's imaginary. They can just manipulate things to make you pay players what they need to play. I think in basketball, if you look at it, like half the teams will spend exactly what it is that they're the minimum. And those are it's a reason why they're just there. The better teams always spend, actually not just the most, they pay luxury taxes. Same thing with baseball. I know there's been years I think where the Marlins were like, they ridiculed them for they just don't spend the money. But then when they win, it's when their owner decides that, all right, I got my young players, I'm gonna go spend the bread. So I think that's kind of what I'm looking at. So like let's just say it's 13.5 million, right? 13.5 million. They're going to spend that, and that is it. If we can't get them done with that, then we're just not getting it done. Whereas I just don't. I use Miami more so because the familiarity with it, and I don't mind what they're doing. It's their money. Spend your money how you want to. Hell, I hope Florida State does this. I just don't see them saying, "Oh man, this is." The difference between me getting this 5-star left tackle and we're at 13.35. Oh, we're fresh out of bread. Nah, man, you go tell somebody. Again, it's businesses. Like who's going to tell Mark Rogers if you wanted to do the voice of college football? Let's just say what should happen already for your show. Somebody, iHeart comes in, picks you up, and gives you this landmark deal, right? Who's to say that you can't pay? You said you got the Iowa show next?
Yes.
Who's to say that you can't pay Iowa's best player $1 million and a couple Iowa guys say, you know what, here, Mark, I like what you're doing. I want to advertise. I'm going to advertise with your show to make sure that this player gets on. Clear ask, clear give. You're going to ask the kid to come on your show. This happens. We pay. And then some of the things that I do believe are going to be a little weird is how are they going to determine how much I want to pay a top player? The market dictates the terms. So like if you're negotiating and you say it costs $100,000 a show, like again, just some of the rules that they're trying to implement are a little murky.
And that's what's fascinating to me. And when you say 13.5 million, I think where you're taking that is the 20.5. People are getting that confused, thinking that's just football. That's the entire athletic department.
Sports, yeah.
It's all sports. Obviously, football is anywhere from 70 to 85%, something like that. Michigan, I heard from one of our Michigan guys that they're probably going to spend like 70% on football, even though it brings in more than that. So the schools have the decision. Are we just going to make a straight revenue split and say football brings in 82%? So football gets 82%. Women's basketball brings in 8%. It gets 8%. Or are we going to try to massage it and try to spread a little love to the non-revenue sports and the rowing team and the gymnastics team? Who knows? I guess they can do whatever they want. So the
Can I
13.
make a real quick point to
Sure,
that, though?
of course.
I'm sorry. What's odd about this? Football, men's and women basketball, volleyball are the only full scholarship sports. The only way you can be on that team on Power 4 level is to be on full scholarship. Why am I getting? I'm saying pay the girl from Texas Tech, right? The 1.1 million or whatever she gets paid. But like, what am I like? Just give her a full scholarship. Give people full scholarships. Like, then you ain't gotta worry about it. Like
Yeah.
I'll take that all day if I'm in a non-scholarship sport, because they're gonna have to pay the rest of their tuition. That's why I was laughing when people were like, "Well, force them to pay their tuition." Well, 90% of the student athletes on campus, or most of the student athletes on campus, are paying their tuition. Like, they may get a little bit of money, but my bad. That was something that I just
No, you're
find
right.
ironic, because you're paying me $60,000, but of that, I'm just throwing a number. But of that 60,000, 35 got to go back to the campus for me to just be a student.
So what I'm going to be fascinated in, a lot of things here, but I'll take 2 layers of this revenue sharing. The first layer is, how does each university approach the revenue sharing between the sports? Are they going to strictly say, this is the dollar value of this sport, we're going to give it this way, or we're going to massage it, Title IX, other things, or we're going to show some love to the non-revenue sports, whether they're men's or women's? Point number 2, and this is going to be even more fascinating for me, would be, once Florida State or fill in the blank, Ohio State, Georgia, whomever it is, has that $13 million for football, let's say, how are they going to divide that among 105 football players? That, I think, is going to be fascinating. The first thing I would do, James, before I cut you loose on this one, would be, if I could, and I don't think it would probably pass mustard and be allowed, is I would want to pay the athletes after the season. I'd want to evaluate the season first and say, you know what? We'll even pay you 10% more, let's say. We'll even add 10% or some figure because of the interest, and we'll pay you more. But I want to be able to evaluate the players after the football season, not before the football season.
I think, and I will say this structure leads to that. Bonuses and different things like that. Again, the problem with NIL is name, image, and likeness. That is marketing. That is what we are doing currently. Like, we are, like, people who are in media, you literally, that's the only way you get paid, is how popular your show is, how you're doing this. And there's multiple ways to get paid, but you're getting paid by your name, image, and likeness, right? This is more of a salary company base, so you do have control over how things are done. So you can pay for the, like, now I will say this kind of it leads to an interesting dynamic of how they get paid the checks. Current structure for a lot of collectives are, they put you on a 10 to 12 count. There's 20 to 24 payments that they'll give you. So like, how would you? So now you only want, now, which helps because it spreads it out. But are you going to pay me 13? Am I going to get not 13, 12 guaranteed checks like the NFL? And then once we get done with that, are you going to pay me to play in bonus games? And how are you going to structure that? Are you going to structure that similar to how the NFL does, where it's not your per check, it's just everybody in the playoffs gets this amount of money for that. So like, there are things that kind of come into play that I think kind of make it a little bit hairy on that. But also, I'm looking at the lawsuits 10 to 20 years down the road, because I know exactly where my neck injury came from. I know what play. And I never got workman's compensation. I have after effects to this day for these different things. So colleges are going to have to put some other things in the coffers as well, which is always funny that they're like, what are the kids going to do about paying taxes? And I'm like, no, the reason why they didn't want them to be employees is because nobody wants to pay for James Coleman's spinal surgery that he's going to have to eventually have when he's 55 years old. Like that, because we know it didn't come from me just walking. Like, I can firmly say, running into other human beings It's probably not the way that my body was designed to be utilized, but I was pretty good at it. But I do agree with you, though. There needs to be some kind of stipulations to be able to get guys to continue to give their best efforts and continue to play. I would just go ahead and say we agree to, and how I think colleges are going to do it. Again, they're going to take that money and they're going to split it up between segments. I joke about it. Nobody cares about kickers. Kickers aren't people. So you should just be happy to be here. You're one of the 105. So we're going to make sure you're good. I'm joking. Anybody who's a kicker, don't come find me. Your quarterback room will get X amount of dollars. And because there's very few quarterbacks, you can place a valuation. That guy's going to typically get paid more. Your running back room has a certain valuation. Wide receiver room probably need to put a little bit more in your wide receiver and your O-line rooms, your D-line, things of that nature. Those are all the different things that are how to break it up. And you'll have to be in control of your room based upon the valuation. That's actually what a lot of NFL GMs, on a very simple basis, that's how they do it. Like they value this room with our cap is worth X amount of dollars. So I think that's what they'll do. And then again, I don't I'll say it's worth it, but I would never say it's fair. If to use a quote that a Marine told me, if the battlefield is even, we did a shitty job of preparing the battlefield. So I am never going to agree with, if I am Florida State booster, I am going to always go, and my job is to make sure we don't lose bidding wars. And if I don't care how I guess it's going to go back under the table or how we got to clear some of these deals, but we're going to clear some deals to make sure that we can get some guys paid a little bit more.
So I want to emphasize something real quick, everybody, that James mentioned right there. So even before NIL, and aside from players being paid under the table, I think a lot of people took exception to players getting the red carpet treatment from the time that they were 12 years old and all that other business. But did you hear what he said about the neck injury and the something that he has to deal with every day? So a lot of weightlifting.
On this show, my jaw is cracked. I don't know if you heard it, but like 4 times. But like I mean, I wouldn't trade it in. If I had a chance to do it all again, I wouldn't change a thing. But I was part of the 1%. There is not a job like right now. I'm speaking this over you, Mark, because I love you, man. I like you. You're gonna be one of the 1% of all pods and sports people. Again, you are the voice of college football. If you're one of the 1%, you know what you're getting paid? Pat McAfee money. Pat McAfee deserves to get paid the money that he gets paid. He runs a very good show. Regardless of if people like him or not, they're talking about him. Football players, college athletes in general, are part of the 1% of the population that plays that sport. If you're one of the top 1% of dentists, you're a multimillionaire. If you're the top 1% of nail technicians, you're probably a multimillionaire. Chutes and ladders players, you're probably making a lot of money. So, like, I always want people to think they ain't giving nothing. Like, you're really good if you're on that level.
It's the marketplace. That's a society we live in, and most of us enjoy it for the most part. Supply and demand. That's what it is. There's a high demand for entertainment and football in particular. So that's what it is. You made another comment, James, in terms of the capitalist in you versus the purist in you. And this is where I divided. And we're never going to go back to this point because we get the $20.5 million out there for the athletes. But my divide would be, in a perfect world, or my perfect world, would be the athlete gets a scholarship that's worth what, anywhere between $40,000 and $100,000 a year, something like that. And they get all the benefits of the training tables, eat like a king, workout rooms that are the best in America, all those things. And then the NIL has no cap on it. That doesn't mean it's not regulated, it's not vetted, and so forth. But the collectives, I don't think there's anything wrong with any rich oil man, any booster, any collective group that wants to go out there and take $5 from every fan that wants to give it, collecting the money and then giving it to the athletes. And it's almost like this is the payroll and the salary cap on the pro level, and this is the endorsements on the pro level that are NIL on the collegiate level. And I don't think that I hear this all the time from people that get disgruntled about the numbers that they see. And they're like, we need to put a cap on that. We need to put a cap on that. Put a cap on corporations and billionaires' ability to give. Why? They should be able to do whatever they want with their money.
It's so anti-American. I know nobody wants to hear that, but like,
yeah,
you cannot tell kids. We've indoctrinated kids from me too, from kindergarten all the way through. So that's 13 years of schooling minimum. That America is the greatest country in the world, and what makes America exceptional is capitalism and the ability to build something from the ground up, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, and all these different things. You cannot tell me for 13 years that this is what makes us great. And then the minute that I get the opportunity to participate in what makes America great, wait a minute, hold on. We need to stop that. That's ruining my favorite hobby to watch. Like, you live it, I know that, but you're ruining what I watch on my spare time for what you do full time. And I get it. There's better uses is there better uses that people can pay money to? Maybe. I think teachers should get paid more. I'm with you. I don't want to get taxed more, but I kind of think teachers should get paid more. Private school teachers typically get paid more. So take your money and put it there. That has nothing to do with me watching on Saturdays. But even in all of it, I don't think people know quite how they can't fathom how massive the NFL salary caps are. So like, you're looking at, we say 20 million and we're like, oh man, that's a lot of money. That is one player. Like, not even your premier player in the NFL. That's like one, I think, Saquon Barkley, who is very good. I think Saquon makes that annually now. But he's not the highest paid player on his team either. It's collectively what these guys are doing. It is that. And it's an opportunity for them to make not generational wealth, but good money. But I would say the only thing that I would like them to do, Mark, is put in safeguards to help protect the young men from themselves. And I don't mean controlling how they're spending. What I mean is it's the entire reason why you go to college, why you do any kind of other education, is so that you as a man or a woman can take care of yourself as an adult. That means you get a college degree so that you can go get a better job in the workplace. You network, you make all these different things. I've always said, if I play for college and you don't pay me, I should be guaranteed a $60,000+ a year job if I'm qualified for it. Meaning I got my grade, I got my degree, I worked, and I did a lot of different things. But take care of them. Like, let them, if I could get back, I should be able to see a doctor as long as I get back to Tallahassee for my time that I put in at Florida State. I should be, they can say it's on Tuesdays. They have a general practitioner that comes in there. I should be able to go check that out. The NFL has something similar to that. I should be able to get something I saw with the MLB. I didn't even realize this, but if you meet like there's a requirement of how many years you got to play, you get like a ticket. You can go watch any baseball game that you want to watch as long as they have space for it. I think that's a very unique thing that you should be able to give these guys. But I think maybe taking a percentage of their contracts and putting it into some kind of investment portfolio that they can't touch until they're 40 years old or they've hit certain things. So kind of like when we've seen what happened with Allen Iverson. Somebody had the wherewithal to protect him from himself and take a little bit of his money and put it into place so that when he spent all of his money, okay, now he's hit a certain age. Now he's back to being a millionaire again. And I think those are some of the things that they could do. That's just me speaking as a guy who's seeing some of these guys make some bad decisions. But I think it's a great opportunity, and I think it's I love it for these young men. But I also have a son that's coming up, so I'm hoping he still gets a chance to make some money. Because I mean, hell, some of these guys are making more than I made in the NFL. So I hope my son gets the opportunity. I've got a chance to see 3 great young men, and I promise you, money doesn't change people. All it does is enhance who they are. Jamie French at Texas is making bank right now, and I love it for him. I can pick up the phone. When I picked up the phone, I called him. Hey, coach, what's going on, man? How you doing? Oh, that made me feel so good. Because again, he make way more than I make. Definitely more than I make coaching. Because my coaching stipend is trash. But he picked up that phone, and I'm still coaching him. Same thing with Tramel Jones and Drake Stubbs, who are both at the University of Florida. They drove their nice little fancy cars, came on over here, saw me. Big smiles, just great kids, great well. If they were terrible people before money, they're going to be terrible people with money. It's not going to change it. If they're good people with money, more than likely they're still going to be good people and still going to listen. So I don't see it changing anything in these kids at all.
Totally agree with that. And unfortunately, when you've got a lot of money and you started out as not such a great person, then you can hurt a lot of people. But then you can help a lot of people if your heart's in the right place and you got a lot of money in your hands. So that's the good side of that. Yeah, when we look at the situation involving transfer portal and as it relates to this as well. So my thought on this was no college football fan likes the transfer portal. Hardly any like the transfer portal because we like to be able to watch Monday Night Football and see, okay, our favorite player always played for our favorite team and they didn't go to 3 different schools. And that we take pride in that. And that's obviously dissipated to basically nothing at this point. So my thought on that, James, is that while these players should have freedom of choice, I certainly don't like what we're seeing that's really expedited in the last couple off seasons is these players will play for one team through December, then they'll go transfer to another school. They'll barely hit the practice field, maybe not for spring practice. Then they'll transfer again, and they never played for the middle team, and they go play for somebody else, a third team, the next year. So I guess a good byproduct out of this is whether they officially become professional athletes and they're unionized or not. Maybe we can tie them to a contract at least to keep them on the same team for maybe not their entire careers, but where they're not just constantly jumping all over the place.
I don't like the jumping all over the place. Because it's also messed up. One of the purest thing in college football is the idiotic hate that we have for people who wear other colors. I love it though. It's one of the best things. I participate in it. I don't like Florida. And I won't like Florida. My son can go to any school in the world. My sons can go wherever they want to go. But if they go to one school, they lose their inheritance. I will only watch them play live two times, and that would be in Tallahassee. And I love it. But here's the problem: is it's not. Bobby used to say it's not the kids that have changed; it's the adults. And I'm not mad at coaches for doing this because they have to have upward mobility. And you want to be a head coach, you want to make as much money. Coaches come and go way too often, way too fast. And I don't think you should leave with your position coach. But if your head coach is fired or your head coach leaves, I get why you wouldn't want to be a part of that school anymore. I think you should get one transfer unless you transfer down. And the only other way you can leave after that is if your coach is fired or your coach takes another job. I really think that would change a lot of it. But I always want to tell people as a coach, the way I found out about the transfer portal was in 2018 through coaches. And I will always be pro player on this, and I will always stress this to people. At the end of the season, there's this thing called exit interviews. And at the end of spring, there's this thing called exit interviews. And those exit interviews are always right before the portal window opens. So a lot of people aren't leaving because they're afraid of competition. A lot of people are being asked to not come back. And that's the real truth of the matter. And what happened was what really exacerbated this problem was during COVID, a couple of things. Extending the COVID, giving everybody an extra year. This mess that they're doing with junior college players, that's not helping the situation by giving them basically 3 free years. So like you can play football forever now. Like at a certain point, hey man, go get your CDL license or go work for FedEx or UPS. 99% of us go pro in something other than our sports. but that didn't help. But there was a lot of kids who got rankings and evaluated improperly. And you could not, and so coaches couldn't go see these high school games. So a lot of coaches made mistakes and they're doubling down on the mistakes, and the evaluation is still crappy. There are kids who are in 105 scholarships ain't going to help it either. There are kids who are going to Power 4 schools that probably should be at FCS. And that's just the truth of the matter. Like they took a gamble on them measurables, and those kids' game didn't match it. And those people are refusing to go down, to be bounce backs, because they're used to the perks of playing at big schools. So, but I do think even with that, if coaches really didn't like that, they would evaluate look at how many some of these high schools how many high schools some of these kids go to. Like there's kids who've gone. There's it's not Tank. Dadgummit. He started at Georgia, went to USC. He's a D tackle.
Bear Alexander.
Bear Alexander ain't been at the same school since he was in 8th grade. I'm not saying you judge a book by its cover, but the content kind of told me he's probably not going to be the most loyal when it's whether it's his parents or it's the kid. Something about that is telling me that this is a kid that I probably shouldn't bring in, because I don't think he's going to finish here. I think he committed to like 5 schools too during the whole process. So I'm not going to take the coaches off the hook, but they get paid like even my guy get paid $10 million, bro. You got to figure it out. Like you got to do a better job of evaluating. So
my guy, I can't think of his last name. Tight end. He was a 5-star. Went to LSU. Eric
Gilbert, right?
Eric Gilbert. Eric with an A. Eric.
Yep.
Yeah. Signed with LSU. Went to Georgia. Went to Florida. One of those deals I just talked about. Never played for Florida. Just showed on campus for 3 weeks and then took off. And then he went to Nebraska. Then he did something crazy there. And I don't know where he is now, but he's only about 22 years old. I don't,
that young man. Also, again, like he's an athlete. He don't take the student part very, very seriously. But just again, those are guys who are tremendously gifted. I get why you would want to take a chance on him. But man, like he's showing you all. It's other signs. Like this is me being a high school coach. When I talk to people, I'm like, that's what you see. Like sometimes, and I would never name a name, but there's a kid that I coach that I would tell the school, hey man, he's tremendously gifted, but he's a little different. But coaches don't sometimes listen to that. They treat it like your friend at the bar that's had a couple drinks and the pretty girls hollering at him. All they see is 6'4", 300 pounds running 4'7". They're not seeing the fact that she might have 5 kids from 6 different dads, or that she got a little twitch in the eye. She might be crazy and she's talking to herself. Like they don't see that part. They just see the beautifulness, and they're like, I'm going to make this person better. And the problem is that sometimes that doesn't. Sometimes it works. More often than not, it doesn't. And again, as a teammate, I've seen some really crazy people. Like I've seen some really crazy. But I've also had some teammates that I am grateful that somebody took a chance on them to give them a higher education, and they made it to the league, because I would hate to see who he was with nothing to lose, because that'd be a terrifying person.
And I think the other thing that factors into that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that most coaches have big egos. So they're the one that can get that talent out of them and fix them and make them fly right. They're the one that can do it.
And that's the biggest problem. It got exacerbated more to me when I covered the NFL more than I covered college. When I went to the combine, and we were sitting in Burns Cigar Lounge in Indianapolis. And we had all the pro coaches were there just chopping it up. And there were some good college coaches that, my good friend Carlos Loughlin, running back coach for the Buckeyes, they were there. And to hear I learned from that, NFL coaches think college coaches are idiots because they don't know what to do with the players and they're not coaching them right. College coaches think high school coaches are idiots and they don't know what they're doing and we don't know how to coach them right. high school coaches think middle school coaches are idiots. And so on and so on. Just everybody's kind of just like, oh, they don't know I got the magic touch for this person. All in all, you can only force it. You can only lead a horse to water. You can't force them to drink. So some people are better at it than others, but it's all in all, again, I think it's what makes the game fun, because if it was just on paper, it would be and it was formulas and equations, it would not be what we know. And that's the reason why you can see Vanderbilt beat Alabama, because at the end of the day, the game got to get played on the field, and it's about personalities, energy, and emotions. And all of this stuff is adding more to the personalities, the energies, and the emotions to the game. And while most people don't like it, I love it. I have never been more excited about, like, that last college football season. To me, it was so much fun, especially toward the end. And I work for the Gator Bowl. Seeing Lane Kiffin be so mad. Like, it used to be an honor to go to a bowl game, but Lane didn't get the playoff invite, and he did not want to be in Jacksonville. And all his demeanor let it be known he didn't want to be. He thought he was supposed to be somewhere else, which, again, now that's a talking point for this coming up season. Now it's even more things. Again, the drama is better than Real Housewives of the Potomac or whatever these people. This is my Real Housewives. I can't get into the other drama stuff. I just like sports, so I love it, man.
It's funny, James, you say that, because just this afternoon I had a conversation with a friend who made the same analogy. They said, this is a lot better than Real Housewives. This college football drama, so much better. So much better.
Like, when my school, the only time we don't like it is when it happens to you. And I did not like being 13-0 and not getting the invite. But I dang sure don't like 2-10 either. But it leads to the drama, and just, again, and then young men getting able to go out there and do cool stuff, man. Like, it's like I said, man, I don't know. People keep saying they don't like it, but the TV ratings are showing way different. And that's why the contracts keep getting bigger and bigger. So, hey, something's working.
People love the controversy. James Coleman, Sports Den Live, Den Media Group. So, James, tell us about that, and then we'll tee up for this Tallahassee Legends youth camp.
Okay. We just Den Media Group. If you want to, again, some of you guys might not like it, but if you want to hear a different vantage point and still having like good debate about what's going on with sports. I'm not no hot take guy. We're not just coming in there. We're not bantering back and forth. We're just trying to have educated discussions and get in detail about some of the things that go on in sports. And that's kind of what we do at Den Media Group. I do give analysis of games. If you're a Jaguar fan, I cover the Jags, Florida State, Florida, Miami. We do those different things, but we're obviously talking a lot about the NIL and talk about these other different things, as well as some of the best high school prospects, because I am blessed in what I do to be around some of the best prospects that your schools probably want. One I'm going to talk about, I'm going to milk this relationship for as much as it can get. Great kid, all jokes aside, but this kid, I told you about the phenom, the freshman. I got to send you some video on this kid. Like, Bryson Wright is dang near, is Jeremiah Smith 2.0. Anybody who knows Jeremiah Smith. But you get to talk to these guys and you get to walk them through the process. And we have a show, like my son has Trey's Take, where he talks about and breaks down some football. Sometimes things don't make sense, so we need a 12-year-old to make sense of it for us. I think I actually enjoy it. The way he takes it from a childlike perspective is better than mine. I'm callous and hardened. He has hope and optimism on some things. But it's a lot of different things on the channel. We want to be comparable to what you have on your channel, Mark. And like I said, you do such a great job with what you do. But like I said, we just try to have fun in sports and talk about it at a high level.
And then, even more importantly, you've got so many charitable ventures. And so just take it away in regards to what's up next.
So I have a foundation. If you've been around kids enough, you've whispered MFTK under your breath quite a few times, and it means something different in that manner. But we've taken that and made it into Mentors for the Kids Foundation, where I get an opportunity to go into the communities in which I live and give back. And one of the things that I've been blessed to do, I came up in what we call the golden age of football in Tallahassee from about 1999 to about 2003. We put a lot of guys in college, and a lot of us made it to the NFL. And so one of my teammates at Florida State, Pat Watkins, and a young man, Amari Gaynor, who played at Florida State and North Carolina, currently with the Las Vegas Raiders, we're going to do a camp in the neighborhood that I grew up in, Rockbrook over in Tallahassee, Florida, at Lincoln High School. It sold out, which was a cool thing. Did not think that would be possible, especially for washed old guys. But we sold it out. We're doing that. But then we'll also have my community give back weekends in Orlando. I believe it's July 19th. We're doing a book bag drive. July 26th, which is my actual birthday, we do a book bag drive in Tallahassee and a football camp on the 27th. And then we come to Jacksonville on August 2nd and 3rd, a book bag drive and a football camp. And we go into the inner cities or what's considered the bad areas, and we have a great time. We have never had an issue. We're giving back. I love to complain, but the reason why I can complain is because I actually am trying to do something to actively change the environment in which people are talking about. And the way everything is so separated, I promise you, if you don't got a dime to give, come volunteer, and you're going to see that, you know what, you're blessed. You're way more blessed than what a lot of people are. It is going to make you make you so much. It's going to make you feel so much better about your day. I hate this process of it. It's like practice. I hate going through the fundraising process and the break, setting it up. But man, once I get to that, once I give that first book bag, it's like playing a game. It's like once I get that first hit out the way, it made all the hours of practice and banging myself worth it. So I can't. This is my favorite time of the year. Like I said, we're gonna give away. I think we're gonna be at 4,000. The goal is 4,000 bags between all of the places. So it's about 30. If you want to go to mftkfoundation.com, we have Stripe. It's safe. You'll see it. Well, you'll see it on my Twitter because my IG and Facebook are down right now. But you'll see us sharing it. You'll see us give back. Even if you don't give a dime, time, talent, treasure, a retweet would be great. A retweet to me is just as big as giving $36 because now your network sees what we're trying to do here in our communities, and maybe someone in your network can give, or maybe someone in your network needs a book bag. And again, it's 9 weeks. It's 9 weeks of school supplies in that bad boy. We ain't giving away empty book bags, and about a week's worth of groceries. So like they're getting something. You never know. Maybe that takes somebody, that helps somebody. So that's kind of the whole goal. So I appreciate you allowing me to talk about that, though, Mark.
Always, James. You will always have time on here to talk football and to talk about anything that's going to help people and help kids, especially. Absolutely. All right, James. Good to see you, man.
All right, appreciate you.
Thanks, James. Have a good day. Big game, James Coleman. And again, we've had a relationship for quite some time for a lot of good reasons. You can hear right there. Great guy, helps those people that need it, and especially the kids, and a great football analyst, Florida State, 2002 to 2005 under Bobby Bowden. They're playing some fullback for Coach Bowden. Let's check out what all of you have to say. And I know Adam's got something to say about Drew Aller. So I see Super Chat. I see Adam's color. This must be like Adam's soul color. I don't know if he chooses this color. I've given Super Chats at times on other shows a few times, and I don't know that I could select the color. But every time it's Adam, it's this color. And then I know it's going to be something about Adam's favorite all-time player. Thanks for the Super Chat, Adam. I would give Drew Aller a $5 gift certificate to Starbucks, and Dylan Raiola, he gets a free haircut. I wish I would have had a free haircut. It was a good haircut, I think, I hope, but it wasn't free. This egregious settlement rewards the wealthiest schools who in turn will dominate college football. Adam, they already dominate college football. Okay. Adam joined Minnie Hunt on the Coronation Show. I'm sorry, Minnie, I forget the name of it. Monday Therapy. Yes, Monday Therapy. Adam was there last night. So go to Coronation, check out Minnie's conversation with Adam, and then also her conversation with the National Football Foundation president on the Hall of Fame and other topics, I'm sure. I've yet to check that out myself, but I will. I most definitely will. This is the College Football Show. We come your way every Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. My next stop is with Corey Bratta on the Iowa Show. So Corey and I get together. This is show number 200. So that's just about 4 years. Corey and I have done the Iowa Show on Tuesdays, 5:30 Eastern, 4:30 Central. So that's coming up very soon. I'm going to nail down Corey on how the Iowa football program should be spending that $20.5 million. I guess, again, I got to always catch myself when I say that. $20.5 million to the entire sports department. So the football team gets whatever. 13 million, 16 million, whatever it turns out to be for that particular football program. We do have a few minutes for calls if you would like to call in. No, you can't do that right now. Why not? Because I forgot to put in the call-in line. We come your way for an hour every day, an hour minimum. If you would like for me to hang around for longer than an hour, that's up to you. So support the show, and we may stick around for longer than an hour. But it's a solid hour, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. We got the On the Move show coming up on Wednesday night with Leanne Herring. That's at 8:30 Eastern. We take your calls. That's our substitution for a late night call-in show. You get to call Leanne and myself on Wednesday nights, 8:30 Eastern. On the Move. It's a recruiting show, but you can call about anything concerning college football. So how about that? Also want to highlight our VOCFB website. I need to do such a better job of letting all of you know about all of our great initiatives across the network, and this would be run right here. Adam, make sure you're looking at the screen because I am seeing one
important security message.
Lord. I hit the wrong button, didn't I? That's when you got 14 things going on at the same time. All right, let's try this again. Goodness gracious. Okay. There he is. One Drew Aller. And more importantly, let's not get fixated on Drew Aller. This is the Voice of College Football website, vocfb.com. Please go and register with us. All you have to do is sign up, and you can join one of the forums and talk college football, and you can trash talk all the time. You don't have to wait for me to fire up a live stream. You can do it all the time concerning your favorite teams or rival teams on the forums tab there at vocfb.com, and check out all this great work from our writers. And actually that article there that features Drew Aller, you may see some comments from me as well. Also, I'm going to be releasing my newsletter, which I wrote one just a couple weeks ago, and that's being sent out to many of you. You may have come across it at some point, but yes, that's going to be available on the website as well. I would like to send out a newsletter every week, but definitely once we get to the season, every week during the off season, maybe closer to once a month, but a Voice of College Football newsletter, a lot of stats, facts, and trends that you won't find anywhere else, plus my opinion and my take on all sorts of categories across college football. There it is. Jackson's got you lined up. So please grab that link that Jackson has provided there in the chat, vocfb.com. I would love to be able to feature the Instagram that we've got but I can't because now that I'm on this new laptop, I don't know my Instagram password. So it's automatically on my phone, but I don't know how to get on Instagram on a laptop at this point. So nothing there, unfortunately. But I'm sure you can find Instagram. And if you can find Instagram, then you can find the voice of college football. And our guys, Gabe and Patrick, are doing a remarkable job on Instagram. I am so impressed with the posts that they have come up with on a daily basis. I believe it's 2 per day on Instagram. It is remarkable. So we are expanding constantly here at the Voice of College Football. Maybe not my show, but everything else here at the Voice of College Football expanding by the day. We're up to about 100 people on staff. And again, we've got the website, vocfb.com. We've got new shows and channels popping up all the time. We're starting a Penn State show soon, Mississippi State show soon as well, and some other shows I can't necessarily think of right this second. South Carolina show starting soon. Auburn has started in recent weeks. Tennessee. Those are 2 shows that we've started in recent weeks. And again, South Carolina, Mississippi State, and Penn State. So, Adam, get on over to the Penn State channel, the Penn State show, and trash Drew Aller over there. You can trash Drew Aller all you want because they'll be talking about him nonstop. And then, of course, speaking of Adam, we've got our Rutgers show either on Monday or Tuesday. Can't keep track of these shows and when they are. I really can't. We could do it probably best this way. There's your list of shows starting on Sunday. Got the Florida Gators show with the 2 Tylers on Sunday night at 7 Eastern. We got the College Football After Dark show late night on Sunday. Monday, look at that lineup. You see me at 4 p.m. Eastern time. We got Alabama, Missouri, Iowa, Rutgers, LSU, Notre Dame. We got the Sooner Smiths, Chad and Tyranny on the Oklahoma channel at 8 Eastern. Ohio State Primetime Live, Texas, Tennessee, Auburn, Florida State, and USC. Look at all those shows just on Monday. Tuesday, that On the Move show has been moved to Wednesdays. So you got me, you got the Iowa show that we're coming up on with Corey Bratta, Nebraska Live with our guys Brian and Justin, Alabama again with, of course, Jackson on Mondays and Thursdays. The Tuesday show with Manny. We got the Biggest 12 show with Clint Foster at 7:30 Eastern. Michigan, Oklahoma, Iowa State, Georgia, Indiana, Texas A&M, North Carolina. That Indiana channel, it's moving, folks. It's moving. Meaning it's moving up the charts. It's gaining subs. Wednesday, we've got the Ohio State Live show featuring yours truly, Ole Miss Live. We got our show here. Miami, West Virginia, South Carolina starts this week or maybe next week. Starting soon, Illinois. Of course, the Clemson show with our guys Edward and Jordan Bowman. USC. Thursday, we've got this show. We got Nebraska. We got an Iowa call-in show. We got a Michigan call-in show. We got an Oklahoma call-in show. We got an Ohio State call-in. It's the night of the call-in shows. The Voice of College Football on Thursday. Look at that. Nebraska, Iowa, Michigan, Oklahoma, Ohio State, Alabama, and USC. And then Friday, you got me. And then actually, okay, I was mixing that up with my personal schedule there for a second. All right, very good. There we have it. All right, folks, no calls, nothing else here. I think we've done a nice job. James Coleman was the show, and that's a good show. right there. I'll be back here actually Wednesday. Shoot, you got me and the Ohio State bunch at 11 a.m. Eastern. We got the Ole Miss show with Leanne Herring at 2 Eastern. Got this show at 4. We've got the Miami show with Cam Underwood and myself at 7. And we've got Leanne Herring and myself for On the Move at 8:30 Eastern. And your calls on Wednesday. So it's an action-packed Wednesday, top to bottom. And we will see you soon, folks. We will see you in 32 minutes over on the Iowa show. I know I'm on mute. Oh, Isaac, yes. I don't know at what point you joined us there, but that's an interesting question that I've answered several times, but we will answer that at another time. But I do appreciate that you're interested, but now is not the time and place. But thank you for that. We will answer that question at some point again. And also, I want to clarify something. Watch Party, we just have to find a day and time for the 2021 Michigan-Ohio State Watch Party. And the plan for the watch parties is going to be that we watch an old game during the off season once a month for members. So you members, here's a big bonus, big benefit here. We get together once a month and we watch an old college football game by your choice. And again, the next couple of weeks, it's going to be the 2021 Ohio State-Michigan game. And then once we get to the season, we will rewatch current games. So let's say the best game of the week was, I don't know, Michigan fans, what do you think? Nebraska upsets Michigan. How about that one? Nebraska upsets Michigan, and that's our game of the week. And we'll take it in maybe on I don't know when we're going to squeeze that in. Like a Monday night would be a good night for that, probably. Monday night watch parties. I like it. Right here at the Voice of College Football. See you in a few.